Hey y'all gotta check this video. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So around this time every single day, this lady records this messages across her building that the sun projects every single day. This is in St. Louis, Missouri, y'all. Check this out, y'all. Check it out.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys see this, but every day at this time, when the sun sits in a certain spot, this appears on the building across from me. See how it just went away and then it goes away? It's like, is it Hebrew? Somebody told me something. Did you see that? There, then the sun.
It looks like runes. Y'all see that? Y'all ever seen runes? It looks like runes. But now let me ask you a question. Isn't that the sun back here?
Anybody?
Wait, wasn't that the sun back here, y'all? Doesn't that look like the sun? How is it reflecting on this building?
Alien? What does this mean?
What is this, y'all? How is that possible?
There is a monster lurking in Mongolia. This is the Mongolian death worm, and according to legend, this creature is said to exist in the far reaches of the Gobi Desert. In 1926, paleontologist Roy Chapman Andrews was in Mongolia when he heard many secondhand accounts from locals warning of the death worm. It's said to mainly live underground, but will surface to hunt. It's been described as being dark red in color, having a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth, is anywhere from 2 to 7 feet long, and it is to be avoided at all costs. The death worm is said to have the ability to spit venom at its prey, mainly livestock and humans, which is corrosive enough to burn through metal. And it's been reported to have the ability to electrocute its victims from a distance as well. In fact, one of Mongolia's former prime ministers was once quoted as saying that its skin is so poisonous that merely touching it means you're done for. Now, legends of this cryptid actually inspired stories like Dune and Tremors. And although many explorers have gone to the Gobi Desert to prove its existence, no proof exists just yet. If it is real, some think that it could be something like a misidentified worm lizard or sand boa. But what do you think? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what cryptid you want to hear about.
Is Antarctica the key to flat Earth? Admiral Richard Byrd led 4 expeditions to Antarctica, the 4th being Operation High Jump. In 1954, he spoke on TV of an area bigger than the U.S., never seen by human beings, and that within 180 miles beyond the South Pole, his team found enough coal in a mountain range not covered in snow to supply the whole world for quite a while. 1957, Byrd dies of a heart issue in his sleep at 68 years old. 1 year later, 1958, NASA was formed, directing attention away from Antarctica and instead up to the moon. 1959, a year later, the UN treaty outlawing public travel south of the 60th parallel was enacted. Then a few years later, 1962, high-altitude nuclear tests were conducted, and they were called Operation Fishbowl. And now there are trillions of dollars spent to explore space and Mars, but why not Antarctica? Then they're like, okay, well, let's just make sure no one can go there, and then probably they're going to go there and explore things on their own under the radar. And then Operation Fishbowl, you're trying to blast through the top. Who knows if they cracked it or what the results of such a thing were, but it seems like they very much wanted to send all the attention upwards towards the moon and Mars. And then of course we got NASA, and the fact that you've said the Chevron logo is in every space organization on the planet, which shows they are interlocked and connected. Maybe they're all perpetuating the same lies. Very interesting. It's also kind of a Freemasonic symbol. It's kind of the compass. So who runs these space agencies? What is their true agenda? And are they just trying to distract away from anyone realizing where we really are?
So Tesla owners are facing a bigger issue as of late, y'all. Tesla owners are saying that their car is making them sick. This lady has reported extreme fatigue, debilitating shoulder and neck pain, nosebleeds, nausea, as well as hair loss. A former Tesla owner has claimed that she has experienced nosebleeds, hair loss, and debilitating body pains while using the vehicle she purchased in 2021. While she was not entirely sure that the Tesla was at fault, the Georgia resident said her symptoms disappeared after selling her car. Tesla owners have had to trade in some models because the air conditioning systems were prone to mold, which caused asthma-like symptoms. She reported that after buying a Tesla in 2021, she started experiencing fatigue after driving her vehicle and complained the symptoms got worse over time. I would come home from the grocery store and needed to lay down in bed for 20 minutes before I could even go unload the car. She said her husband spent hours in the car and both experienced the same symptoms, but it wasn't until she took a road trip in her mom's gas-powered vehicle and experienced no symptoms that she realized something was wrong. The symptoms escalated until she started having nosebleeds and nausea towards the end of a long car ride, and said she started losing her hair in the last few months of owning the car. She added a disclaimer saying, "Am I sure the car caused these symptoms? I'm not 100% sure of anything. It is likely our symptoms are gone after selling the car 5 months ago." Her post on Instagram received a lot of replies, with one woman saying that her brother-in-law had something similar happen to them. They sent the car in for repairs and it ended up being mold everywhere. Another mother chimed in saying she owned a Model Y for 3 years and had major headaches, body aches, tired all the time, overall just not feeling herself. Her children had the same symptoms. There are other Tesla owners saying that their air conditioning system doesn't dry out, which causes mold over time. You guys remember this video that went viral a few years ago?
Brand new Tesla Model S in a Turkish garage and leave it for 1 month. It starts rotting. What happened?
Look at all that mold.
What the fuck is this? Look at this. My Tesla. Fuck.
Elon Musk got some explaining to do. Elon Musk got some explaining to do. So this is what's happening to Tesla owners, y'all? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the crazy statue at the Denver airport called Lucifer? I mean, Blucifer? What about the crazy murals painted on the wall like this one? And this one? Well, I am just being blasted with downloads lately, and I found a connection between those paintings and the Denver airport and this demon face post I made. And if you don't know what this is, well, I made a post the other day talking about this condition that they were talking about on the news. Victor Shara? Well, when he sees people, their faces look like demons. And in my opinion, they're just doing that. So when we can see through the veil, we go, oh my gosh, I have that condition. You don't have that condition. You can just see what's actually happening. But back to the point. His name matched up to something big. That's right. That guy's name literally matched up to this in the Gematria code. Now look at what I found in these murals. Now at first glance, you might look at this and just think it's a creepy looking thing with these kids around a fire. But I have a keen eye, and I noticed that. Can you see what it is yet? How about now? That's a floating city. The floating city that just happens to be talked about in Revelation of the Bible in the coming back of Jesus Christ. And this Blucifer statue too, if you're not familiar with the Bible, it's also talked about in Revelation. Because the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are again talked about with the coming back of Jesus Christ. And not only do they have all of that, but they also have a mural where the sun and the moon are in alignment, meaning a solar eclipse. Now here's what I want to say about this, the most important part, is I truly believe we are living in a time past tribulation of the Bible, past the part of Revelation, that they're going to try to make us believe is happening. They have capabilities of technology like you would never imagine. So what I'm saying is just use discernment. As the days lead up to the eclipse, have discernment ready. You can best do that by ridding yourself of toxins, by doing some fasting where your body isn't trying to process anything, where you can be functioning on a higher level mentally and spiritually. It's time to start getting ready for something big. Now, I'm not saying that the return couldn't happen, but I just want people to have awareness and have discernment and to not be fooled by something evil and something nefarious. So do your absolute best to get your thinking caps and your spiritual caps on and ready, because I think we're heading into some interesting times. But as always, guys, this is just for entertainment. I'm sure this horse is just fun and decorative. I'm just a satire count. Don't take anything I say seriously.
I see a deer.
That's a weird looking deer. Or maybe it's not. Throughout Appalachia, people have encountered something that looks like a deer, but there's something off about it. So they call it the not deer. Now, there are a couple theories as to what it might be, and I'll let you know what I think at the end of the video. According to the stories, people who have seen these things think it's a deer, but when they get closer, they can tell that it's something else. Some accounts report intelligent human-like eyes, more like that of a predator, even extra eyes as well as sharp teeth. Their body proportions are all wrong too, and some report that they have a human-like torso. They also have the ability to walk on their hind legs, which are often misshapen and they bend at unnatural angles. Their movements are often jagged and aggressive, and if they see you first, they may move towards you with an unnerving precision. Some think they're actually skinwalkers, wendigos, or some kind of cryptid. However, skeptics think that what people are seeing is actually deer with chronic wasting disease, a prion disease that affects the brain. Now, I think that explanation makes a lot of sense, but there is some strange stuff that's reported in Appalachia. People are seeing these deer-like creatures that don't have the hallmarks of chronic wasting disease. They're something else entirely. I think it's possible that people are seeing some kind of creature. Maybe a mutated species perhaps, or something supernatural. But what do you think? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what cryptid you want to hear about next.
We hyper focus on the things we can see and the physical, and we completely cut out the unseen, and that has a lot of implications for a society and an individual, wouldn't you say?
One of our most telling modern vices, that we don't think anything is real unless it is literally so. We lay enormous store by facts, but there's more to life than facts. Earlier cultures, their worldview was primarily metaphorical, or rather, I would say that their worldview was embedded in a vision that preceded the division of the metaphorical from the literal. That it's only in modern times have we distinguished between metaphorical and literal. So, for example, the literal worldview thinks that myths are untrue. They think they're fairy stories. Whereas, of course, for traditional cultures, myths are the true story. They absolutely point to the reality of the human condition. But at the same time, I'm not sure that any traditional culture takes them literally in the way that we suppose that they did. Even in ancient Greeks, the gods were understood not in a literal way. They were understood as real as images, but not necessarily literally real. It's a very, very hard distinction for us to make because we are so literal-minded. So it's easy for us to dismiss all the products of the imagination as if they were mere fiction.
Because look at that Masonic temple. You see that? The Masonic symbol? Are you flipping kidding me? Look at this. Masonic. And gosh darn it, we may not be going much further, but what the heck is this? That is completely obnoxious. Oh, shit. And inside is this deep Masonic.
What the hell?
Yeah, right. This is extremely deep water. No. No way.
So check out this Tesla conspiracy theory out, y'all, and you're going to get a kicker out of this. Listen to this.
There's a conspiracy theory I think might be true. Last week, a Tesla crashed through a wall of my house. I was home when it happened. The first thing I did was check to make sure my roommate was okay. Then I called 911. Then I went outside and started taking pictures of the crash. My first picture was at 5:07 p.m. My first picture of the tow truck drivers trying to take the Tesla out of here was at 5:10 p.m. It had literally just happened minutes earlier, and so I was like, hey, can we pause for a second? Like, the cops are on their way right now, and the tow truck driver actually said to me, F you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, my house just got ran into. Have some empathy. And no joke, he goes, here's your empathy. And I was like, oh my God, you're being that much of a dick right now? And he goes, get the out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers? And are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up? They don't want any more negative press because those tow truck drivers were here so fast and they were so aggressive, there had to be a bunch of money on the line.
Did you know that Australia has its own version of Bigfoot? And it's called the Yowie. This hairy humanoid is said to have large fangs, talon-like claws, stands up to 9 feet tall, is covered in reddish fur, and is much more aggressive than its North American counterpart. Stories of these creatures can be found in Aboriginal mythology, which says that they were a spirit that roams over the earth at night. Modern reports began in the 1850s when the Australian Town and Country Journal began to publish witness testimony of indigenous apes being seen all around Australia. And sightings of the Yowie continue to this day. The Australian Yowie Research Group may have even caught thermal footage of these creatures. Some think this cryptid might be an offshoot of the extinct ape species Gigantopithecus, or an undiscovered humanoid marsupial. If you're from Australia, have you seen the Yowie? Let me know in the comments.
If you thought all of this stuff going on with Diddy is bad, there's people coming out saying that Jay-Z is no better. In fact, 50 Cent is basically saying, this is a lot worse than we think. He recently posted this picture saying that Jay-Z's in hibernation till all of this Diddy stuff blows over. No brunch, no lunch, no dinner. And there's a lot of dark conspiracies about Jay-Z. I mean, we have the incident with Tory Lanez.
I'm telling you, this court system is not for justice. It's about wins and losses, and they do dirty to do whatever they can. Jay-Z, let me speak to you because my son refused to sign a Nation deal with you.
The conspiracies about Kathy White and what happened to her. The conspiracies with Aaliyah.
Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce.
And never forget when he wore this sweatshirt that says, do what thou wilt, which is
consciousness platform first before it exists in the third dimension. This remote control for the TV existed in somebody's multidimensional platform as a thought. And we know that the mind connects up to 11 dimensions according to the Brain Institute. So it's in a multidimensional state. It doesn't exist in a physical form until the person that's thinking about this thing says, now I have an idea of what I want this to be. I'm going to collapse it from multi-dimensions into 2 dimensions. How does he do that, or she does that? Puts it into a piece of paper, pen to paper, and draws it out, or puts it into a computer. It's called computer assisted design. That's a CAD design program. Now it's in 2D. It looks 3D, but it's only 2D. So you took up to 11 dimensions and collapsed it into 2 dimensions. Now that it's in 2 dimensions, you can tweak the final things about it. You hand that data, that blueprint, over to an engineer. The engineer takes a blueprint, he takes it into a shop, and then he stacks atoms in a format that create the item, the thing, in the third dimension that you can move around on the XYZ axis. I can move this on an XYZ axis now because it's a physical form. Somebody, an engineer, took the blueprint and stacked atoms in a particular way, like Legos, that created this into third dimensional reality.
From docking off from the Eiffel Tower to fishing via airship in a lake in California. One of the main reasons I believe they got rid of these. Having a personal flying craft, a vessel of personal exploration, where the possibilities and locations are limitless. That's something the parasites could not keep around. Cutting out the airships hindered not only our freedoms, it also solidified our dependency on oil for the next century, and setting up a narrative of how these fossil fuels are so limited. And with everything running on it, they had to charge a premium, as well as setting up realm-wide wars for the next century, fighting over the perceived precious, limited resource of oil. Many ask with these airship photos why they never seen them before. In short, blame
Or form of meditation in the West is mindfulness meditation, where you'll focus on the breathing. If you have thoughts that enter, you push them away and you return to your breath. The thing is, people with like ADHD, people that are neurodivergent, they struggle with this because they often get bored. The misconception is that you're bored because you're easily distracted. You are not easily distracted. You are hypersensitive. This hypersensitivity leads you to be hyper aware of your surroundings, what's going on. And this is why distractions happen. If you hear a little sound or if something's happening, it's going to pull your attention. But this is a superpower. And when paired with the right meditation technique, it actually is a massive benefit. You hear about these monks that are meditating in caves for 20 years. They are not doing mindfulness meditation, focusing on their breath. A lot of that time is spent exploring the internal universe. Okay, what does that mean? Well, just like the universe, our physical universe is infinitely expansive, always expanding. Your internal universe is infinite. So this morning, I woke up with some feelings of inadequacy and a lack of confidence. I like to meditate in the morning, so I grabbed my buckwheat pillow. You can't really see it, but I sit on the edge. It just helps me keep this upright posture. I did a 10-minute breath work to calm down the nervous system, to prepare the body to get into that meditative state. I also tape my mouth when I do meditation. First and foremost, it's to promote nasal breathing, but it's also because it's become a part of my ritual, if you will. I always recommend doing the same things before you meditate so that your body is prepared to get into that meditative state, but also it recognizes the signs that, hey, we're about to meditate. Finally, it was time to meditate. So I sit down and I start exploring the universe of the feelings that I'm having. Why am I feeling a lack of confidence? What is this uneasiness? And I sit with those feelings and I think, what is the source? What is causing me to feel this way? When I find the cause, then I explore, well, why is that causing me to feel a certain way? What is it about that cause? You go deeper and deeper and deeper. You will never find the bottom of this pit. You can explore, well, why do you have these feelings if they don't benefit you? Or do they possibly benefit you? I'll do it after I have a fight with my partner. What is it that she said that triggered me? Why did it trigger me? What is the source of that trigger? What has happened in the past that is a similar situation that I might be projecting? Why were those things in the past so powerful that they make me act a certain way today? You use your hyper-focus, your attention. You pull every little thread, every little thought, and you follow it. And it is insane. It is insane because the benefits I have seen from this, the amounts of knowledge I have attained about myself, who I am as a person, overcoming certain things, it has all come from this technique. People think meditation is just emptying your mind, and that's not real meditation. Meditation is letting go of all expectations of what you're about to experience and just going with it. When you explore your internal universe, you are literally following and tracing every thought and emotion, and it is near endless. And whether focusing your mind on the breath or focusing your mind on every thread that you want to pull about who you are, how you act, why you act a certain way, both are actively focusing your mind. But your internal universe doesn't just include your thoughts and your emotions. It also includes actively feeling things within your body. The science behind chanting Om is insane, and I'm going to do a standalone video on that. But a really cool meditation with exploring the internal universe is doing Om chanting and focusing on the internal vibrations that you will feel, how they change, where they generate from.
There's a whole conspiracy about the Titanic. So the Titanic had a sister ship.
Yep.
Sister ship didn't have insurance on it.
Oh.
And was heavily damaged. And the men, I want to say it was JP Morgan, that was one of the backers.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
He was like, well, we got to collect insurance on this. So they quickly scrubbed the paint off and stuff and wrote on the Titanic, went out to sea. JP Morgan was actually supposed to be on that ship.
But then didn't get on it.
Didn't get on. They went out and then they sunk. They were able to collect the insurance money.
1,500 people or something like that died.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
But recently they've been examining the hull and stuff of the Titanic. They said it actually looks like in the boiler room there was explosions.
That's so
and
strange.
the fact that the guy in the crow's nest didn't have binoculars.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
And the captain, he went way off course. It was something 200 miles off course.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me.
Towards icebergs.
Kind of surprised me where thing is, where Titanic actually went. They said, what was it?
Off of Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah, Nova Scotia, eh?
400 miles away, I think.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Petrification. Truth is stranger than fiction. Declassified CIA document talking about soldiers being petrified instantly by alien spacecrafts. This is the craziest story I've ever heard. There were these Russian soldiers fighting this alien spacecraft, and all of a sudden, beams of light, and they get turned into stone instantly. Then they got taken to this secret hangar. This is a verifiable story. I have the CIA documentation to prove it. What do you think happened here with this petrification? This is an actual petrified human foot that was found inside of a cowboy boot, where you can actually see the bone marrow, CT scans and all. This is a freaking foot, and this boot isn't even that old. The company that made these boots started in 1871, but this specific boot is only 1950s. Then of course, giant petrified trees. Those aren't petrified trees, those are mountains. Oh yeah? Well, what are the rings then? So I'm sure that's just a sculpture. Do you think it was really aliens, or do you think it's more of a spiritual thing? And do you believe this thing was really carved by hand? Look at the intricate details, and look how these kind of look like stalactites. Here's the document again if you want to just pause and read.
I saw this conspiracy theory regarding Joe Biden being an actor, and it's not actually Joe Biden. Someone's like, hey, did you see this on IMDb? And then it like took off, but since then it's been taken off of IMDb. But it was a movie, and the title was Joe Biden sworn in as U.S. president on Inauguration Day 2021.
Shut up. No way.
And it only had one actor in the cast and crew.
Who was?
And his name is Arthur Roberts. This is Arthur Roberts. But they're saying that he had wearing a mask. Like, I don't know if you saw there was a picture where he was like kind of like looking down, and dude, it looks like he's wearing a mask.
No way.
But it's crazy. Like, it literally looks like you could just like grab it and just pull it off.
Yikes.
And it's not super easy to get something on IMDb either. This happens with every president, because I remember when Hillary was running for president, she had like some type of medical issue. She passed out outside of her car.
Oh no.
Like, and they like picked her up and put her in the car and stuff. And then later, you know, one comes out, they're like, that's not her, that's a fake. And so it happens with everything.
Of what looks like a creature of an unknown origin. This image and video was captured in El Paso, Texas. A woman was sitting on her couch at 3:45 in the morning and suddenly received a notification on her cell phone. It was her security camera advising her that there was something outside of her home. She immediately checked the photos and video of this creature on her phone and noticed that it looked like something unrecognizable. She didn't understand what she was looking at, so she sent the footage to a couple of UFO channels on social media, and now the internet and social media itself is going crazy about this photo and video. This creature is going viral all over TikTok, all over social media, and no one knows what it is. Whatever it is, it looks like a mixture of E.T.
Stop listening to music. It's bad because it reprograms your subconscious mind by putting you in a hypnotic state. You want to dance or do something when you listen to music because it puts you in hypnosis. You remember the lyrics so vividly because it rewrites your subconscious mind. Every word they are saying in the song is molding and shaping your mind in some form or way. Why do you think you want to hurt someone when you listen to drill music, or want to dance hard when you listen to techno? When you listen to music, you literally cannot think because it's putting you in hypnosis. Spotify and Apple Music are all tuned to 440 Hz, which shuts down the right hemisphere of your brain because they do not want you thinking creatively or intuitionally. Music creates thought loops within your mind. This is why you feel nostalgia when you listen to an old
advances in genetic technology allowed for the comparison of anatomically modern human bodies to those of 4 newly discovered Neanderthal bodies.
Atlanta, did you hear the news? They are literally trying to turn ATL into China. Georgia Power and AT&T have teamed up and created these LED streetlights with sensor-enabled data network in order to see your every move, y'all. Check this out. You're not gonna like it.
Power crews have been working to repair and replace streetlights in and around Metro Atlanta. The sensors can record outdoor temperature, capture pedestrian and vehicle movement, and record audio and video. Drone 2 flew over the Thomasville Heights neighborhood.
So the device attaches very nicely to the light, and it blends in quite nicely. And it's got two cameras, 2 audio sensors, edge processing capabilities, which is really great and allows you to do a lot more than just kind of sending full video files back. And supports multiple connectivity options, like cellular is what we're leveraging today, but it can also support fiber and Bluetooth as well.
Officials held a news conference Wednesday night to discuss the progress they've made with the Light Up the Night program, where they plan to go next. 2024 marks year 3 of the ongoing initiative and the latest efforts in the old Adamsville neighborhood.
The next year, we're going to increase that by 20,000 more lights. Lighting up the night.
Is that the people monitoring the cameras have the ability to move those cameras 360 degrees. They can zoom in and out on whatever's happening in the area of the camera. We have highly trained civilian personnel. Not only are they monitoring radio traffic, they have the ability to communicate directly with the officers on the street, and they're also proactively monitoring, looking for criminal activity. For example, there was a monitor that observed animal abuse, and they were able to call that out, and the suspect was apprehended.
that mind open, people.
Very credible people. All of these people had said that there are UFOs, they are alien. We're using anti-gravity and reverse engineered technology that came from captured UFO craft.
We're using anti-gravity?
Yeah. I predict within the next 7 years we will have anti-gravity as a publicly usable phenomena. Unlike the press would have you believe, it wasn't very clever. I searched for blank passwords. I wrote a tiny Perl script, the Perl language, that tied together other people's programs that searched for blank passwords. So you could scan 65,000 machines, and because all 65,000 aren't necessarily live yet, you might find typically 5,000 might be live. And out of that, 500 might be Windows machines, then 50 might have blank administrator passwords, which is a pretty bad ratio for the world's largest military.
So you're saying that you found computers which had a high-ranking status, administrator status,
Yep.
which hadn't had their passwords set. They were still set to default.
Yeah, precisely. And in some cases, it was thousands of machines because they had an image. Rather than install Windows off a CD at every machine, you blat it onto an image, stick the image in all the machines, and every single machine has a blank local administrator password. So, but I mean, I had control of every machine that had a blank administrator password because the door was open. So.
And what did you use that to do?
I was searching for files and evidence in relation to the UFO question.
If I was, say, a NASA employee and I was walking past the computer that you were connected to, what would I have seen on?
And if you were walking past there, you would see the mouse move and me, doing whatever I was doing on that desktop.
Why weren't you spotted then?
I was eventually, but there was one occasion where a network engineer saw me and actually questioned me, and we actually talked to each other via WordPad, which was quite strange. That was very, very strange.
What did he say? What did you say?
Well, he said, "What are you doing?" Which is a bit, shocking. I told him I was from military computer security, which he fully believed. And we had a little chat, and he tried to impress me with his virus knowledge and going into a DOSBox, a console and stuff. And that was quite strange. Because I felt like this free energy technology that I was after should be publicly available. I wasn't doing any damage. I was snooping around. I wasn't making their security poorer because the administrator password was already blank, so the door was already open. The only thing I was doing was installing my remote control program, which is commercially off-the-shelf available software, so it shouldn't be a problem either.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
There's a group called the Disclosure Project. They published a book which had 400 expert witnesses ranging from civilian air traffic controllers through military radar operators right up to the chaps that are responsible as to whether or not to launch nuclear missiles. So some very credible, all saying that yes, there's UFO technology, there's anti-gravity, there's free energy, and it is extraterrestrial in origin, and we've captured spacecraft and reverse engineered it. And these are, very solid, reliable chaps. One of these people was a NASA photographic expert. And she said that in Building 8 of Johnson Space Center, they regularly airbrushed out images of UFOs from the high-res satellite imagery. And using the same blank password hunting technique, I got down to Building 8, got a few blank passwording machines there, and what she said was there. There was folders called filtered and unfiltered, or processed and raw, something like that. I got one picture out of the folder, bearing in mind this is a 56K dial-up.
So a very slow internet connection.
Oh, crikey, yeah, dial-up days. So using the remote control program, I turned the color down to 4-bit color, the screen resolution really, really low, and even then this picture was still, juddering and coming onto the screen. But what came onto the screen was amazing. It was a culmination of all my efforts. It was a picture of something that definitely wasn't man-made. It was above the Earth's hemisphere. It was kind of looked like a satellite. It was cigar-shaped. It had geodesic domes above, below, to the left, to the right, and both ends of. And although it was a low-resolution picture, it was very close up. This thing was hanging in space. The Earth's hemisphere was visible below it. And no rivets, no seams, none of the stuff associated with normal man-made manufacturing. More than coincidence. I mean, this woman had said, this is what happens in this building, in this space center. I went into that building, that space center, and saw exactly that. And the folders were even called unprocessed.
This is pretty chilling to listen to. This guy used to work for the FBI, and he goes into detail of what he used to do for the FBI. He used to work primarily with children. Now think about that, you guys, children. When he was getting a little too good at his job, he brought his attention to the director of the FBI forces, and everything changed. I want you to listen to this.
In the FBI in 2014. Spent my first 7 years investigating violent crimes on Indian reservations. Eventually moved to Florida to work on child pornography and human trafficking. In 2021, I was reassigned and told that those child pornography cases were no longer a priority for the FBI, and I needed to focus on domestic terrorism. When I made the transition, I got my first look at the January 6 investigations and became immediately concerned. The FBI is departing from its own guidelines and rules for managing cases. I brought my concerns forward. I told my supervisors that what we were doing was jeopardizing righteous cases and putting the public safety at risk. Within 30 days, the FBI suspended my security clearance and placed me into an indefinitely unpaid, suspended position for the FBI. The security division tried to compel me to lie to them so they could charge me with a crime. The FBI rejected my multiple requests for outside employment because I was in unpaid status. If the FBI is willing to do that to one of its own people, what are they willing to do to the regular American citizen who they are duty-bound to protect?
Check this video out, y'all. A whale was giving birth to a baby in the water, and this attracted sharks due to the blood, the smell of blood. And dolphins appeared out of nowhere and formed a circle around the whale and the baby to protect them. Look at that, y'all. Look at the whale. Look at the whale. Look at that. To protect the whale. This is why they want y'all to stay away from dolphins. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this is, man. Wow. And they escorted them off. This is beautiful, beautiful. And to be able to capture this, thank you to the Predator for this. But yeah, man, this is why they want y'all to stay. That's why they want dolphins to stay away from y'all. They want dolphins to stay away from us. We are connected to dolphins. Dolphins are higher birds of us. That's they speak telepathy. Look at this, y'all. This is beautiful, man. Share this video. Let's get this out there. Look at what dolphins do for us. Okay, you guys, I don't want to alarm you, but something may be coming to pass with the financial economy system. The Walton family just sold $4.5 billion to Walmart stock, and Jeff Bezos sold $8.5 billion today. Jamie Dimon sold $150 million to JP Morgan. Zuck sold $400 million. Buffett is selling a lot. Altogether, Bezos, Black, Demon, and the Walton family have sold a combined whopping $11 billion in company stock this month, and this is for the first time ever. Do you guys see this? In this latest interview, Warren Buffett is recorded saying, financially speaking, there will not be a 2025 and that there's going to be some consequences to pay.
It all has consequences, and I think we're about, well, we are starting to see the consequences of the.
It seemed like he couldn't say what he really wanted to say. Did you see the anticipation in his body language? You know these people are being controlled on all kinds of levels. They got handlers all around him. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy that's right next to him isn't a handler. Not to mention, the U.S. is in debt at $33 trillion, you guys. 33 is the number Jesus died at, right? So is the U.S. economy about to be crucified? Do you think that's the case here, y'all? Because spiritually speaking, you know, this is all a video game and every numbers run everything, y'all. Because this is probably why they told us about it. This is why they said it specifically at $33 trillion for the first time.
Dude, why are there like different species of like dogs and birds, but not of humans? Oh, there are, or at least there were. We just killed them. Bro. Yeah, me and you, we're Homo sapiens, the only remaining living species in the human or the Homo genus. No homo, no. For hundreds of thousands of years, there existed completely other species of human beings, some of which us, Homo sapiens, even lived alongside of and likely mated with. The most popular of which are Homo neanderthalensis, Neanderthals, commonly seen as our stockier, bulkier, and cave-dwelling distant cousins, who lived in Europe and parts of Asia up until 40,000 years ago. Then they no longer existed, although they kind of live on inside of us, as average humans today have about 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA in their genes. There were also Homo floresiensis, aka real-life hobbits, Denisovans, a species that likely lived in high-altitude climates, and Homo erectus, one of the longest-lasting species who are around for about 1.5 million years. For comparison, Homo sapiens have only been around for about 200 to 400,000 years, which theories suggest we essentially genocided these other species into extinction through superior technology and cooperation methods. It's believed that while other human species banded together together in smaller tribes for the sole purposes of survival and reproduction, Homo sapiens appear to have the ability to collaborate in larger groups for purposes that go beyond just themselves, such as in religion or even business. Of course, there aren't any recorded religions or corporations that go back 40, 50,000 years, but this inherent ability of Homo sapiens to form larger alliances beyond their immediate vicinity is what gave us the edge over the others. This cooperation is evident in out-of-place historical sites like Göbekli Tepe dating older than 10,000 years. Dude, what if Homo sapiens just created a virus in like a lab that only affected other human species to completely wipe them out 40,000 years ago? That's pretty unlikely. I don't think we had labs back then. Nah, dude, you're just not open-minded enough.
I saw my buddy Mike Guyver with this coin in his background on a live. Look, it's a flat earth. A San Marino coin from 1999 with a flat earth on it. But look at the creepy front of the coin. It's a caged mind with the globe in it, hands holding fire, and the celestial bodies all around. And don't tell me that's not a caged mind. It literally says crowned shield. Flat earth as once envisioned, and a crowned shield. And what's with the hands holding fire? Have you guys ever seen heliosorcery? This kind of reminds me of those vibes. This person has the caged mind and the fire in the hands and all these planets. Now that's more like it. It'd be cool to get my hands on one of these. And what are these? Are these like blast holes in the firmament? And why do they look like moon craters? You gotta admit, it's funny that the craters on the moon are all at the right angle as if those meteors came from Earth.
Look at what's just casually passing in Saudi Arabia, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. They are here, right? They've been telling us we are in a new time and space, and look at that, in Saudi Arabia. Now, before anybody says this is fake or Project Bluebeam, there is another angle of this, y'all. Check this out. Look, check this out. Here's another angle of it. Look at that. Y'all see that? So, can somebody explain what is going on? You can clearly hear the noise, a silent humming. You can clearly hear it. And then what are the odds of it another person catch another angle of it, y'all, in the same night? Look at this, y'all. In Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, let's get it.
So apparently we know of 69 different alien species.
These are cataloged 69 different species, different life forms. There's one species that at full adulthood is about 1.5 feet. There's another species that's 10 or 12 feet. The ones that people often refer to are around 3 to 4 feet, 39 inches or so tall. We have very good forensic drawings from men who've been on the retrieval teams of what these various species look like. The reason they keep coming back, number one, it's not a coincidence that the modern era of all this started when we started detonating atomic bombs. What Edward Teller and Oppenheimer didn't understand when they were developing that is that when you detonate an atomic bomb, you get, everybody knows about an electromagnetic pulse, the pulse that goes out, knocks out all electronic communication. What people didn't know about is there's also a pulse of what's called scalar energy. And scalar is faster than the speed of light.